Throughout history, humans have always created gods, kings who ruled nations, emperors who controlled continents, figures so powerful that ordinary people stopped seeing them as human. Today, those gods wear suits, own corporations, launch rockets, and have more wealth than entire countries. The strange part is the richer they become, the less human they seem. But why does that happen? And what does it reveal about the way we see power itself? Let's play a quick game. What's the difference between $1 billion and $1 billion? Most people think a billion is just a bigger billion, but our brains are terrible at understanding huge numbers. 1 million second equals about 11 days. 1 billion seconds equals almost 32 years. Think about that. The difference between a million and a billion is the difference between 2 weeks and 3 decades. When people hear the word billionaire, they are not just hearing a financial status. They are hearing a number so massive that it breaks normal human understanding. And whenever something becomes too large for the brain to comprehend, it starts feeling unreal. That's why billionaires often feel less like people and more like myths. Humans evolved in small tribes. For most of history, we knew everyone around us. We understood their struggles, their fears, their daily lives. Empathy came naturally because everyone lived similar experience. But billionaires exist at a distance most people can never reach. They fly in private jets, live in mansion, travel between countries like we travel between neighborhoods. Their problems sound completely different. And imagine someone worrying about paying rent. Now imagine another person worrying about where to build their next rocket launch facility. Both are human problems, but they feel worlds apart. And the greater the distance between experiences, the harder it becomes for people to relate. Eventually, the distance becomes so large that our minds stop seeing similarities and start seeing otherness. There also another reason. Society loves heroes and villains, but it struggles with ordinary people. When someone builds a company worth hundreds of billions of dollars, our brain search for an explanation. How could one person achieve something so enormous? The answer can be simple. So we invent stories. Maybe there are geniuses, maybe there are machines, maybe they never sleep, maybe they work 24 hours a day, maybe they are not normal humans at all. Over time, billionaires become characters like legends, symbols. Some people worship them, others hate them. But both sides often makes the same mistake. They stop seeing a human being and start seeing a myth. Now here's where things get interesting. Many billionaires actually do live in a different reality. Not because they are aliens, but because money changes environments. Imagine if every problem in your life suddenly disappears. No concern about food, housing, transportation, medical bills, education, and security. Most people spend decades solving those problems. Billionaires solved them long ago. That changes how they see the world. Their daily reality becomes fundamentally different. And when two groups experience completely different realities, they often struggle to understand each other. That's not unique to billionaires. It happened between generations, countries, cultures, and social classes. The difference is that wealth creates one of the largest reality gaps imaginable. Here's something people rarely discuss. Extreme success can be isolating. The higher someone climbs, the fewer people truly understand their situation. Imagine never knowing whether people like you or your money, never knowing who is genuine, never knowing if every conversation has an agenda behind it. Many billionaires live surrounded by thousands of people, yet often experience intense isolation. Ironically, the people who seem farthest from ordinary humanity sometimes struggle with deeply human emotions: loneliness, fear, uncertainty, and pressure. The same emotion everyone else experiences, just hidden behind larger numbers. So, are billionaires human? Of course they are. They get sick, they age, they fail, they make terrible decisions, they lose relationship, they experience regret. The difference is not their biology, it's their circumstances. But humans have always confused power with something supernatural. Asian kings were called gods. Emperors claimed divine blood. Today, billionaires occupy a similar psychological space. Their influence is so large, their resources so vast, their lifestyles so different that our brains instinctively place them outside the normal human category, not because they aren't human, but because they are difficult for us to imagine. And what we cannot imagine often feels unreal. Maybe the biggest illusion about billionaires isn't that they are superhumans, it's that they are fundamentally different from everyone else. Because underneath the companies, the private jets, the billion of dollars, and the headlines, there's still a person making decision, a person with fear, a person with flaws, a person trying to navigate life, just on a scale most of us will never experience. And perhaps that's the real reason people think billionaires aren't human. Not because billionaires changed, but because the distance between their world and ours became so large that humanity became difficult to recognize. So the next time you hear someone say billionaires aren't like normal people, ask yourself, are they really different, or is your brain simply struggling to comprehend a life so far outside your own experience?